Hey, I'm Dr. Serendipity. Thanks for coming back to watch some more. We've already talked about chapters 1 and 2 of Medical Apartheid. Now we're going to be focusing on chapter 3, which is called Circus Africanus. This chapter basically focuses on how black bodies were used for public display. One of the first examples here is a man named Ootabenga. This was in the early 1900s. He basically ended up in the Bronx Zoo, originally from the Congo. He was placed there and also originally placed in the zoo next to some monkeys because the Congo pygmies are small ape-like elfish creatures who are mischievous and parallel both brownies and goblins of our fairy tales. There was a mention of one Sunday where there was 40,000 visitors to the park and people were chasing him around the grounds, howling, jeering, and yelling. Now later he was let go, I guess you could say, and even had a chance to, I think, go to college. But eventually in 1916, because of everything he went through, he committed suicide. Next example we have is of a woman named Sandra K Bartman, who was born in 1789 and from the region of South Africa. And due to her, as they quote, voluptuousness, basically they felt like they could study her. So, quote, men of science made pilgrimages to London. Now this is London, not just America, so this happened in other places too, but made pilgrimages and to study her buttocks and her extended inner labia, which they coined sinus pudoris, which is Latin for veil of shame. Obviously, this picture you see here is a cartoon drawing, which happened a lot in these times, very much exaggerating the features, making African Americans or Africans or Black Americans seem more inferior to whites. And then in whites, they would actually draw the pictures as best they could. Then we have the famous P.T. Barnum, who would use whatever he could just for notoriety and sell tickets for things and whatnot. And this was also something he could sell tickets for, basically. Someone that Barnum put on display was a woman named Joyce Heth, who apparently had been like the nanny to George Washington. P.T. Barnum claimed that she was 161 years old and called her the greatest natural and national curiosity in the world. Obviously, a lot of people didn't believe him, so what he guaranteed was that they would do a public autopsy once she died, and so it could be proven. Obviously, it never was, and I'm not sure he really ever admitted it. Final example I have are of white Negroes, who are people that suffered from albinism or vitiligo, which is a very common disease, but affects African Americans more because you can really notice the color difference in the skin. Although this is the disease we now know of, it was felt that African Americans were turning white as a response to civilizing influences of Western and European cultures, because of course black is bad. Follow for chapter 4.